Welcome to Murali End. My name's Mark Machado. We are here to discuss the best individual performances by Sri Lankan players over the last 12 months. So you might have seen we put out a video with our best team performances and our worst team performances. This one, though, we're doing it slightly differently. Each member of the Murali End panel, I'll go through them all in a minute. Don't worry, that woman is here, as is the ball guy. Is going to have 3 minutes to nominate their 5 best performances. At the end of all of this, we want you to get in touch with us in the comments section and tell us which order you think all these performances should go in, who's the closest person to getting it right, and what your order should be, and any other performances we've missed as well. No doubt there's something that we would have missed between us because it's the nature of these things. As I said, my name's Mark Machado. I'm joined by Nick Brookes, Sri Lankan cricket historian, who joins us from Jamaica. Estelle Vasudevan, Sri Lanka's top and number one journalist, has joined us as well. And the professor of cricketology, Dominic Machado, has joined us as well. We will start with those kind of 3-minute windows now. And because we're a polite and chivalrous bunch, Estelle, you can go first.
Okay, so I'll go from 1 to 5. Okay, so my number one pick. I hope you're timing this. My number one pick is Shamari's 195 against South Africa. First time in a women's ODI 300 has been chased. She made 195 out of 305 runs. Basically, I mean, it doesn't get more one woman show than that, right? That's my number one. From this point onwards, it's a bit tricky. My number two is Pathum Nissanka's 100 at the Oval, last innings of a test, his first tour of England with the senior team for a test series, coming into the team after a bit of a break, magnificent knock. Number two. Number three, Kavisha Dilhari's all-round performance in the Asia Cup final for the women. So she got 2 for 36 with the ball and then 30 or 15, which was kind of like the catalyst for the chase in that game, gave Sri Lanka their first Asia Cup win. And if you've watched our previous episodes, you'd understand like the importance of that game. Number four, I will go with Jeffrey Van der Sar 6 for 33 versus India. Not a very important game per se, but like the whole personal story arc for Van der Sar, basically being a backup player and only getting his opportunities when someone's injured, been in and out of the team, has had disciplinary issues and other issues outside the field as well. To come in and put in that kind of performance against a team like India was pretty special. And to round things off, Pathum Nissanka's 210 groundbreaking, the first double hundred by a Sri Lankan, was a bit bittersweet when he went past Sanat Jayasuriya, but still a magnificent performance. The only reason I'm putting him at number 5 and not higher is because if you look at context wise, the other 4 are probably more important innings and performances for the game as a whole. But still, superb 210. Like how many times do you see that happening, right? A batter crossing 200, particularly a guy like Pathum, who's kind of not in the past at least known to be a good limited overs batter, has kind of transformed himself over the last couple of years. So yeah, that's my 5.
Dominic, do you want to give us your 5? Estelle, well done. You did that in 2.5 minutes. You still 30 seconds left.
Excellent. So actually, mine's going to sound fairly similar to Estelle's. At number 1, I have the Chamri 195. That was just a boss performance. I think, Sri Lanka was 126 for 4, chasing 300. If you look at, Cricinfo sometimes has that probability graph. I'm pretty sure the chances that Sri Lanka would win that match were pretty close to 0, and she revived that innings like a defibrillator. One-woman show, awesome power all over the ground. And it was one of those matches that, or performances that got you up out of your seat and said, wow, this is just awe-inspiring. Number 2 is Harshita's match-winning knock against India in the Asia Cup final, a 69 not out. I think everyone was breathing heavy after Chamri got out in the, I think, 11th or 12th over and thought, who's going to take this to the end? And Harshita sat there, stuck it out, didn't allow India to take more wickets. And then what what I really enjoyed was how she kind of expanded her range over the course of the innings. She played kind of quietly, slowly at first, and then expanded the range with laps and sweeps and all these kind of cross-batted shots. And it kind of started a purple patch for Harshita that ended up with her getting a franchise contract as well, which was really, really great for her. Number 3 is Potham's 127 at the Oval, a fourth innings away 100 from a Sri Lankan batter to win a test match. That is a big, big deal. It doesn't get much bigger than that. And to beat England in the third test, it was an amazing knock. He followed up on the promise he showed in that first innings with a 61. It was stroke filled. It was over a run a ball. It was just a top notch performance and kind of announced, hey, I'm not just a good white ball player. I am a good test player as well. Number 4 is Potham again for me, the 210. This for me again was an announcement of, hey, I'm not just a guy who can strike at 85 and average 50, but I'm a guy who can go through the gears and score big runs. And we've talked about Potham 2.0. This, for me, was the epitome of that. He scored 210 in 134 balls. He got them off to a good start, and he just kept going. There was no slowdown. There was no consolidation. He showed that modern batting mentality that Sri Lankan batters, basically since Sanath, have rarely shown. And then number 5 for me is Vanders against India, 6 for 33. As Estelle said, the story arc is fantastic. Also, the batters he got out, he got Rohit, he got Gill, he got Kohli, he got Shreyas, he got all the big time players. There were some absolutely brilliant googlies. And Sri Lanka won the match. It reminded me a little bit of Akila Dhananjaya's 6-wicket haul, I think 7 or 8 years back against India. But this time, Sri Lanka were able to win it. So those are my top 5 in order from 1 to 5.
Nick, your top 5.
Yeah, I don't think there's any arguing with Chalmers at number 1. That 195 not out was absolutely amazing. I've got Patham at the Oval at number 2. The fourth innings chase was amazing. The way he paced that innings in really tough conditions. It was cold. It was the ball was swinging around. Being there on that last day and seeing him hook Josh Tongue into the stands was just really, really joyful, but also the way he batted in the first inning, so much confidence playing his shots. There were just, I remember some really crisp drives down the ground. It was like vindication, right? This is that he was a proper test player. I've got Patham again at number 3. As Dom said, that double 100 felt like the start of Patham 2.0. It turned, I think it was the point when I went from being still a little bit skeptical about Patham as a limited overs player to being like, this guy is Sri Lanka's future. It felt massive. 4 and 5, I have shifted around. I'm on the fence. I had Vanders in. Vanders is now out purely because they were giving wickets away to spinners during the course of that series. So I'm with Esti. I've got Kavisha at number 4. That 30 off 15 combined with the 2 wickets, I think that was huge in getting Sri Lanka across the line. And as you guys are leaving him all out, I've got Kamindu at number 5. His comeback test, first test against Bangladesh. He comes to the crease at 57 for 5. He makes 100 in the first innings. He makes an even better 100 in the second innings. He's slamming pace. He's slamming spin. And, I mean, he hadn't played a test in about 7.5 years. He'd been hanging around on the sidelines. If he gets low scores, he's straight back out the side. Instead, we're now looking at a guy who's being talked up as one of the most exciting players in Test cricket. So for me, that was a real performance. And did he even take a wicket in that Test match as well, or was that in the second Test? I'm just having a look at my notes. It was in the second Test, so no wickets. But the twin hundreds is enough for me, so I've got Kamindu at 5.
Great. Well, I'll go through what my 5 performances are. So at number 1, I've gone for Harshita because 69 not out and player of the match won. Sri Lanka was instrumental in winning an actual trophy, something our women's team had never done before. And I thought that was very impressive, and I thought it was great that she had, until the World Cup at least, kind of pushed on from there and start to get franchise contracts. Then number 2, Chalmers 195 against South Africa. I love the analogy Dom made about kind of, you know, watching her resuscitate our chances. Absolutely brilliant, right? Those are the kind of knocks and innings that we watch cricket for. Those are the kind of magical moments for it all. At number 3, I have gone for Larry Kamara's 4 for 21 at the Oval, because that was before that little spell. That game was drifting away from us. Like, I mean, take that spell out. You know, before that spell, it kind of felt the English English batters had way got the better of us during that series, and that was the moment that it all turned. Also, you know, I was in the stadium as well, so maybe I've got some bias because of that. At number 4, I've gone for Vanders is 6 for 33. There is this fabled Jeffrey Van der Sey interview that will be out at some point in the near future. Hashtag release the Van der Sey tape. I will do that. Have a watch of that. And at number 5, I've gone for Patham's 127 at the Oval. That's my kind of order and breakdown of things. What we want to know is, have we got the order right? Is there performances that have gone unmentioned? As we were lining up to record this, Thushara's was his 8 for 8 for 27 or something against those guys across the way early on in the season, which kind of early on in the calendar year, which kind of announced himself almost as an international cricketer. When I think a few of us were still skeptical. That hasn't got to mention. Should that be higher up the order? And like Pramath Jayasuriya just takes wickets for fun. Starting to get fifers away from home now. Should some of his performances be mentioned? Get in the comments section and tell us what you think. We want to know. I'm really excited to see what you guys say. We're never, you know, whatever we say is just an opinion. Don't be rude about us, but let us know what you think. We've been the Murali End. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening, and hit the subscribe.